So now let's say my age should not be stored as an integer because I will never turn, what is it, like 127 is the highest number that I can use for a byte. So I will never get older than that. So why should I store my age, which will never be this big number that can be 2 billion in the first place? So in order to save storage, I can now go ahead and change the type of it. I can just say it should be a byte. So I used the capital B here for it to know it's a byte. So now my age will be of type byte. Okay. So if I hover over my age now, you will see it says my age of type byte. So inside of println, it knows, okay, what I'm passing is going to be a byte. Let's rerun this because println also knows how to print bytes. It still does that and it still works fine. But now the data type has changed because I actively defined the data type. Now, the thing is that Kotlin has its own rules. It basically knows based on the data that you assign to a variable, how it wants to treat it in form of a data type. So as we saw earlier, by default, numbers are stored as integers unless you override the type. And if the number is big enough, then it will use the long type. So if I now enter a very long number, like this one here, so let's say I turn super old, and then you will see my age will automatically be of type long. All right, it's not an integer anymore. Now, if I get rid of a few numbers here, let's say like this, and that's, what is it? 3 million, 35 million. Okay, that's 35 million. And now the type is of integer. So Kotlin infers based on the number that you assign what type you want to use. Now, the thing is that also means that now my age is fixed as type integer. Now, if I want to use a super long number later, I get an error because it is an integer now and I cannot store long type data inside of it. All right, so that's for you to just be aware of. Now, if you want to use a long number, you can assign the type long and suddenly this error disappears. Okay, so what do you need to remember from this? You need to remember that there are, even for integers alone, there are different data types. By default, integers are stored as int type. And if you want to specify a different range for that number, you can do so by using the type specifically or specifying the type. So we saw long, we saw int, we saw byte. And there is also this thing called short. And short is a number that is smaller than we have here. We can go back to the documentation for us to look at this. You can see short goes from minus 32,768 to 32,767. So if we were to reduce this number to, let's say, 31,000, suddenly that's fine. Obviously, for this big number that we have here, it's not fine. So that's how you can define the data type manually. Otherwise, it is inferred. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.